On today's Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show, the Bucks aiming for their 7th straight win against the Green Bay Blizzard. We got the highlights coming up next. Plus, now at the halfway point of the IFL season, we'll take a look from some other scores from around the league and get you updated on where the standings sit. And with 7 receiving touchdowns already this season, we thought it was time to get to know Bucks wideout Edgar Allen Poe Jr. a little bit better. It's all coming up on this week's Coaches Show, which starts right now. Hello everyone, welcome inside our Beck Studios. I'm your host, David Sugarman, and this is the Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show. Following a 2-game losing streak, the Bucks were hoping to bounce back when they invited in the Green Bay Blizzard to the event center this Saturday. The two were hooking up for the 7th time in the last season and a half, with the Bucks winning the previous 6 matchups. Bismarck hoping to end this 3-game homestand on a high note. Head coach Rod Miller and company ready for a big one. First Green Bay drive, Blizzard quarterback Jack Sheehan was a big day for him, finds Keyshawn Taylor, who does the rest. 15-yard score, and the Blizzard go up 6-0. They did botch the snap on the extra point. Bucks looking for that quick answer, trying to establish the ground game, did that early on. Running back Ben Glines, 13 yards, he had a chain mover. Bucks able to get going early, and that would continue on the ground. Couple plays later, J. Campbell from a yard out. We're tied at 6 apiece. One of the reasons Green Bay's been playing so much better last month, not just the arm, but the legs of Sheehan. 9-yard scamper for the score. 13-6, Green Bay goes back on top. Next Bucks drive. Little bit of trouble with the snap here. Campbell able to recover, however, on the move, James Brown jars it loose. Tyrell Jacobs recovers for the big early turnover for Green Bay. Seeing if Blizzard could take advantage on the ensuing drive. Sheehan and Taylor hook up again. Taylor avoids a few tackles. 19-yard score, 20-6. Blizzard go on top. Taylor with a big day, finished with 4 touchdowns and 141 receiving yards. Blizzard keep it going. Bucks trailing 27-6 in the second quarter. Taj Tolbert in a quarterback, looking deep, intercepted by Deshaun Nesbeth. At this point, it was all Green Bay. 10 seconds left in the half. The Sheehan to Taylor connection would continue. Sheehan, the play fake, 9 yards to Taylor. Sheehan finished with 8 touchdowns, 7 of them through the air, 34-6 Green Bay going into the locker room. We skip ahead to the fourth, 41-6 at this point. However, give the Bucks credit, still playing hard, still making some plays here. Tolbert for Glines in the back of the end zone, 6-yard touchdown. Later, it's the Bucks defense making a play. They had forced a fumble earlier in the half, and here's Sheehan going deep, and one of the newest Bucks making a play. DB Gerard Holloman picks off the pass, something for the fans to cheer about, but unfortunately, it just wasn't the Bucks' day. Bismarck goes down by a final of 55-14. Bucks drop their 3rd straight to go in 3-5. Afterwards, here's what the players had to say.
You can never forget that kind of loss. Definitely already halfway through the season, but we got to find correction, just knowing that we got to use this as a motor. We're better on the road. Also, we got to continue that coming from the road, good road games like we passed the Bay Area. We got to bring it back to home. We scored right after they were responding in the beginning of the game. Honestly, we just got to keep the momentum going with us. Whenever we have a turnover or a stop downs, it's our time to take over.
We need to do. We got to have more energy out there on the field, with more communication. We had a lot of blown coverages in the secondary, and offensive-wise, we need to capitalize on the turnovers and the good field position that we do have. As far as defense, I'll say the communication. Sometimes we have some guys in man-to-man, some guys playing zone. So just being on the same page. We got to eliminate the mistakes on the defense as far as like blown coverages and teams being able to score on one-hit quarters or in 2 plays. We got to force them to drive the ball down the field and get into the red zone where it make it harder to score.
Some of the scores from around the IFL. Iowa, Bismarck's next opponent, which we'll be talking about soon, took down Quad City 63-47. Tucson takes down Arizona in a high-scoring battle, 74-63. Elsewhere, Duke City, not many problems with the Bay Area Panthers, 43-20 win there for the Gladiators. Northern Arizona all over Vegas, 45-18. And Massachusetts gets the win over the San Diego Strike Force, 51-30. Time for us to take our first break. When we come back, we'll sit down with Bucks head coach Rod Miller. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show.
Introducing the Bucks Fan Finder Ticket Giveaway. The Bucks are on the hunt, and they have their sights set on you. Before each Bucks home game, the Bucks Fan Finder will be scouting for Bucks fans with a Bucks window sticker. If your Bucks window sticker is spotted, you'll receive 2 tickets to a Bucks home game, plus be entered into the grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. So swing by one of these participating sponsors: Advantage Appliance, Simonson Station Stores, North Bismarck, Swing Away Indoor Batting Cages, Mandan, Action Motorsports, Fried Bread Mamas in Gateway Mall, Dakota Nuts and Candy, Bisman Local Food Market, Abra Auto Body, Bismarck, Mandan. Grab a Bucks window sticker and place it in your rear window. For more info and contest rules, visit BismarckBucks.com. Go Bucks! Free tickets to a Bismarck Bucks indoor football game? How? Go to your app store, type weather on Beck News app, hit search, install the app to your Android or Apple device to get personalized forecasts, weather alerts, road conditions, Beck Weather Insight exclusively for you. Then click the Bismarck Bucks free tickets banner anywhere in the app, fill out the information, and submit. You get free reserved seating tickets to a Bismarck Bucks football game from Beck Weather.
Welcome back inside the Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show. As we are every week, thrilled to be joined by Bucks head coach Rod Miller. Coach, let's dive right in. Obviously, pretty tough loss this week. What's your message to the team moving forward after a loss like that?
My message is we have to get back on the right track. You know, unfortunately, we still have a young team. We're still learning some things, but we have to play better and get better. I think that, you know, we're going into these games, like I said, I think that we're making too many mistakes, and we got to clean up these mistakes. You won't win too many football games when you make mistakes. So that's been our focus, to get back on the winning track, get back on the right things, and not make a lot of mistakes.
After 2 really close wins against Green Bay, really competitive ball games, where did this game get away from you guys a little bit?
Turnovers. I mean, when you play a game, and like I said, when you have 2 interceptions, a couple interceptions, a couple fumbles, and not even that, we dropped 2 touchdown passes, we missed an open touchdown throw. So when you do things like that, it makes it tough to win. Anytime you make turnovers and they capitalize, it's going to be tough. And I think that's where the game got away, because we made mistakes and they capitalized on them.
Defensively, there were some bright spots in the second half. You guys did manage to force a couple turnovers. What positives can you try and take away from that going into next week against Iowa?
Just, a building block, just doing things. When we do things the right way, we can win ball games, and we can do things that we can make stops. Defensively, they've been doing a pretty decent job of trying to hold their own, still making a couple mistakes there that we got to clean up. But, if we can keep progressing and getting better each week, that's all we can ask for. We hate to lose. Everybody hates to lose. But if we can put this and make it into a learning situation and peak towards the end of the season, that's all we can ask for right now.
Turning your attention to the future, we're looking ahead to Iowa. That's the start of a 3-game road trip. Let's break down their quarterback first. Darius James Peterson, been playing real well the last couple games. 8 touchdowns, to just 2 interceptions.
Right.
From what you've seen on film, what makes him so effective?
You know, he's effective. He keeps his eyes downfield. You know, he'll make the reads and he'll take off. There's nothing there. So we got to make sure we keep accountable where he is at all times and try to make plays. You know, we just have to come out, try to do some things, try to disguise some coverages to try to make him think and hold the ball a little bit longer. If we can do that, they can say that we can put ourselves in good contention. But just like every quarterback you're playing in this league this year, they're pretty good quarterbacks. So we have to account for everybody and make sure we account for him as well.
Good QBs are usually better when they've got good wide receivers, and this crew has a couple of really good ones. Kentrez Bell and Don McNeil, both top 10 in the league in receiving touchdowns right now. What challenges do those guys present? You
know, they're good receivers. They're tall and they're lanky and they got length, you know, and they got speed. So, you know, Bell's one of their top receivers last year as well. So, you know, we just had to come out and, like I said, account where everybody is, put defense in the right place, not blow coverages, and make sure that, you know, we keep them in front of us and come up and make tackles and try to strip the football when we can.
As you guys try and bounce back offensively, one of the newer pieces last week who played pretty well was running back David Ham. Had 5 carries for 18 yards, some really tough running, a couple of catches as well. How does he factor into the game plan?
You know, well, first and foremost, he got to hold on to the football. So he did have a fumble in the game, too. So I got to account for all that as well. But besides that, you know, he came in, he runs hard. You know, he's a north to south runner. He puts his head down, and he doesn't shy from contact. So that was a big thing for us as well for him, you know, getting in and get some good action. And just to build on that, like I told him, you know, you got to put that behind you, but we just can't let it happen again. So I expect him to keep getting better, you know, each week as he plays more.
Offensively, we've seen both quarterbacks, Taj Tolbert and J-Rue Campbell, the last couple of weeks. Going into this road trip, where does the quarterback competition stand right now?
You know, they're going to play. You know, J-Rue's our quarterback. You know, he's had a couple of things, lingering things going on, but, you know, we're getting him healthy, and that's part of the reason why he didn't play a lot the second half, just to make sure we get him healthy and get them right, good to go. So, you know, we're trying to make sure our quarterbacks are good to go and get them good to go and ready to make their reads and make the proper reads and proper throws, because they have some improvement to do, both of them as well.
You talked about getting J-Rue's bodies fresh. In general, 3 straight games on the road coming up. What's the, I guess, team philosophy in terms of keeping guys' bodies and minds fresh on the road the next few weeks?
You know, it's just funny because it seems like we play better on the road. So I actually, you know, as a coach, you actually like being on the road because everybody, you know, they're accountable. Mm-hmm. You're going to get good rest. You know, you're going to get a chance to sleep in and get good rest. You know, everybody is. So, you know, we're taking the situation, you know, we have to go get some victories. You know, we let teams come in here and get victories against us at home. Now it's our turn to go out and get victories against other teams on their home turf. So our focus is to go out, get rest, be smart, and go out and play good football.
Talk about correcting mistakes moving forward, trying to bounce back. As you guys try and do that, what are the biggest things on your mind that you want to correct as soon as possible?
One, we just got to stay, you know, protect the football, stop turning on the football, make sure we're coming up, and because tackling is way, improve our tackling a little bit. We have a few missed tackles here and there that we got to make sure we clean up. But the main thing is just make sure we're getting fully focused. And I don't want to give it away until you get to the code word of the week, but that's part of the process right now.
Well, let's just get right to it. Spoiler alert. What is the code word for the week?
The code word of the week is mental. You know, we have to get back. We're making a lot of mental mistakes. We have to go back, clean up our mentality, mentally prepare the right way, and make sure our focus is where it needs to be. You know, it's a mental game, and sometimes being mental can hurt you and they can help you. So we got to make sure we stop letting our mental hurt us and get back on the right track.
All right, trying to be mental this week is the code word for the week. Take that to Bismarck Bucks social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Bismarck Bucks Football on Facebook, at Bismarck Bucks on Twitter, at Bismarck_Bucks on Instagram. Again, the code word for the week is mental. Coach, safe travels and good luck this week in Iowa.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bucks head coach Rod Miller. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll get to know Bucks wide receiver Edgar Allen Poe Jr. a little bit better.
News is your leader in local. Back specials and live information for you. Original programming. Exclusive local sports. Beck is local for you. Uncensored topics and uncensored opinions. Unapologetic politics, where all sides are represented. Full episodes online anytime at beck.news. All in one network. Your leader in local, Beck News. Introducing the Bucks Fan Finder Ticket Giveaway. The Bucks are on the hunt, and they have their sights set on you. Before each Bucks home game, the Bucks Fan Finder will be scouting for Bucks fans with a Bucks window sticker. If your Bucks window sticker is spotted, you'll receive 2 tickets to a Bucks home game, plus be entered into the grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. So swing by one of these participating sponsors. Northwest Tire of Bismarck Mandan, Capitol Heights Auto Clinic, 12 Stones Coffee, Papa Murphy's on Mapleton Avenue, Kroll's in Mandan, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, Pizza Ranch. Grab a Bucks window sticker and place it in your rear window. For more info and contest rules, visit BismarckBucks.com. Go Bucks!
Welcome back inside the show, everybody. In his first year with the Bismarck Bucks, wide receiver Edgar Allen Poe Jr. has quickly made a name for himself in the top 15 in the IFL in both receptions and receiving touchdowns. Of course, with a game and a name like Poe's, people are bound to have a few questions. Our Noah Reed fills us in with the story behind the name.
You've heard of Edgar Allan Poe, but have you ever heard of this Edgar Allan Poe?
My father, he was Edgar Allen Sr. My dad said since he had to live with the name, so do I. I've asked my grandfather, plenty of times, why he named my father that, and he gives me a different answer every time. So whether it be, no one was named that, or, I thought it would be cool, or he's also a pretty big literary buff, so he's also said, I like the name, I like the literature.
With a name like that, how often does Poe get asked about it?
Almost every time I say it, even still as an adult, I get that a lot. People ask me to see my ID all the time and stuff, so I'm pretty used to all that kind of stuff.
It's one thing to be named Edgar Allan Poe, but it's another to be named Edgar Allan Poe and be interested in poetry.
I actually used to write a little bit of poetry. I had my little stint back when I was in college and stuff, had my fun with it and stuff. I definitely read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe. My father made sure that was like a big point of emphasis in case I was asked a lot about some of his works of art. It's an important thing to know, just to educate yourself. The common American should read some of his literatures. I actually joined like a little poetry club thing that we had at West Point, and it was more of a hobby more than like a love, you know what I'm saying? So I did it seriously for probably like 2, 3, 4 years, somewhere in there. My personal favorite is Annabelle Lee. I think The Raven is just a bit trite. Not that I dislike The Raven, it's still an awesome work of art, but I'm probably gonna say Annabelle Lee just because of how elegant and it just kind of rolls off the tongue, kind of pretty. So.
It's not just the name and the poetry that make Poe unique. He also spent 4 years playing football at Army West Point.
It's tough, very difficult. The daily rigors of your everyday cadet, and then add football on top of that. So most days what it looked like was we would wake up at probably about 5 a.m., have a football workout before our military formation, go to class all day, and right out of class go right back to the stadium and have football practices and meetings and everything, get back down to the barracks, do your homework, go to bed at like 11 o'clock at night, wake up, wash, rinse, repeat. It instilled an unbelievable amount of discipline that I didn't even know I could even fathom of grasping. I learned how to battle through adversity pretty strongly there.
As far as this year's Bismarck Bucks, what does Poe believe can be achieved?
Greatness. I know a lot of people who've been watching have seen, we're right there. We're right there. It's just a couple little things that we're missing. We clean up those little mistakes, and back half of the season, I'm looking at a pretty strong finish.
And now we're joined by Noah. Noah, first of all, great job on that story. So fun to get to know these guys on another level. A lot of layers to that piece, from the obvious, the name, his time at Army, his own poetry. What caught your eye the most when you were researching and putting this together?
Yeah, it was a really fun piece to put together and everything. And I just think you get to know people on a little bit of a different level. I think we as fans sometimes get used to, oh, he's a football player. Oh, he's a basketball player. Every level, whether that's this level, the NFL, NBA, college sports, whatever the case may be, we just get used to so much of, we know them as the athlete and we know them as nothing more than the athlete. Whereas you do a piece like this and all of a sudden you get to know him a little bit more, and it's one of those things where you can't really make up the whole name and him enjoying poetry and writing and being a part of a poetry club, and he writes music. He sings, has a great voice, which we didn't really see in that piece. But yeah, just everything put together and who he is, and it's not just, oh, Edgar Allan Poe, the football player. You get to know him on a little bit of a deeper level, and I think that was probably my favorite part.
I was going to say, there's so many interesting skills and quirks to his personality that some stuff gets left on the cutting room floor. You talked about the singing. What else didn't make the piece that maybe fans would want to know?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that kind of caught my eye when I was looking at what didn't make it was the fact that I asked him, hey, do you have any interest in keeping the name going after this and maybe having an Edgar Allan Poe III in the family? And he said, hey, there's a lot of things going on right now and a lot of time between when that may happen. He goes, but for the time being, and he said, that's something that my significant other and I will have to discuss, and hopefully longer, down the road and have time to think about that. He goes, but if I were to give you an answer right now, he goes, I would tell you yes. And that kind of caught me off guard a little bit, because he jokes about it a little bit and says, I blame my grandpa because he was the one that named his father Edgar Allan Poe to begin with. But he actually goes into detail and says, I actually really enjoy the name. I'm thankful for the name. So he jokes about it, says, I blame my grandpa, but obviously really enjoys having the name.
Sounds like a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
Going back to the Bucks on the football field, obviously they've struggled scoring the football the last couple of weeks. 20 points or less than 20 points in 2 of the last 3. Poe's generally been one of the bright spots and pretty consistent guys offensively. What's allowed him to have so much success in his first year in Bismarck?
I think he's just really versatile, and he has a lot going for him. And he's 6'5", a really big guy who's a deep ball threat down the field. He had 5 straight games where he had at least 1 touchdown. And when Jay Rue became the starting quarterback in week 3, the first 2 weeks that J. Rue was the starter, he and Poe hooked up for 2 touchdowns in each of the first 2 games. So there's a little bit of connection between those 2 guys, the quarterback and the wide receiver spot. And Poe's just having himself a good year because he's a red zone threat. When they get close to the end zone, they can throw it up. When you're 6'5", you can kind of just put the ball up in the air and let Poe go get that thing. Really talented receiver. He's a smart football player. And I think he's somebody that guys around the team just really enjoy being on the field with him.
Oh, we're looking forward to see what he can do against the Iowa Barnstormers this week. Bucks trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Noah, thanks for the story and thanks for hanging out with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on things here on the Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show.
Introducing the Bucks Fan Finder Ticket Giveaway. The Bucks are on the hunt, and they have their sights set on you. Before each Bucks home game, the Bucks Fan Finder will be scouting for Bucks fans with a Bucks window sticker. If your Bucks window sticker is spotted, you'll receive 2 tickets to a Bucks home game, plus be entered into the grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. So swing by one of these participating sponsors: Advantage Appliance, Simonson Station Stores, North Bismarck, Swing Away Indoor Batting Cages, Mandan, Action Motorsports, Fried Bread Mamas in Gateway Mall, Dakota Nuts and Candy, Bisman Local Food Market, Abra Auto Body, Bismarck, Mandan. Grab a Bucks window sticker and place it in your rear window. For more info and contest rules, visit BismarckBucks.com. Go Bucks! Free tickets to a Bismarck Bucks indoor football game? How? Go to your app store, type weather on Beck News app, hit search, install the app to your Android or Apple device to get personalized forecasts, weather alerts, road conditions, Beck Weather Insight exclusively for you. Then click the Bismarck Bucks free tickets banner anywhere in the app, fill out the information, and submit. You get free reserved seating tickets to a Bismarck Bucks football game from Beck Weather.
Welcome back inside the Coaches Show, everybody. Despite the tough loss for the Bucks this week, they still had some big hits, especially in the second half. And here's our hit of the game, brought to you by Abra. Early fourth quarter, Bucks, despite being down big, still playing hard, and that includes linebacker Jeff Branch blowing by his man on the line for the big sack of Blizzard quarterback Jack Sheehan. Branch showing that speed, that strength that's making him so lethal. That's this week's hit of the game, brought to you by Abra. Now time to reveal this week's code word winner, and it is one Heather Sibley. Heather, congratulations. We'll be getting in touch with you very soon to let you know about your prize, a VIP turf table at an upcoming home game, and how to take advantage of that. Congratulations to Heather. If you want to be like Heather, this is your chance. Listen up right now. This week's code word from Coach is mental. They're thinking about the mental aspect of the game this week, coming off 3 straight losses and a tough one on the chin against Green Bay. Take mental to Bismarck Bucks Football on Facebook, at Bismarck Bucks on Twitter, and at Bismarck_Bucks on Instagram for the chance to win a VIP turf table at a Bucks home game. Before we go, let's take a quick look at the Bucks' upcoming schedule. From here on out, it is almost all road games for Bismarck. 6 out of the last 8 on the road, including the next 3. It starts this Saturday at Iowa, followed by a trip to the Quad City Steamwheelers, and then the Massachusetts Pirates, back home for Frisco, on the road a couple more times at Sioux Falls, at Quad City again, and then it's home for Iowa, and then rounding out the season on the road against the Northern Arizona Wranglers. But 3 straight road games coming up: Iowa, Quad City, Massachusetts. Bucks hoping to keep that undefeated road record alive, 2-0 away from Bismarck as of now. That's going to do it for this week's Bismarck Bucks Coaches Show. Thanks to everybody for helping out this week. Head coach Rod Miller and our reporter Noah Reed for that fantastic piece on wideout Edgar Allen Poe Jr. The Bucks and the Barnstormers this Saturday night at 7:05. Game will be streaming here on Beck. Until then, have a good weekend, everybody.
Tickets to a Bismarck Bucks indoor football game? How? Go to your app store, type weather on Beck News app, hit search, install the app to your Android or Apple device to get personalized forecasts, weather alerts, road conditions, Beck Weather Insight exclusively for you. Then click the Bismarck Bucks free tickets banner anywhere in the app, fill out the information, and submit. You get free reserved seating tickets to a Bismarck Bucks football game from Beck Weather. Introducing the Bucks Fan Finder Ticket Giveaway. The Bucks are on the hunt, and they have their sights set on you. Before each Bucks home game, the Bucks Fan Finder will be scouting for Bucks fans with a Bucks window sticker. If your Bucks window sticker is spotted, you'll receive 2 tickets to a Bucks home game, plus be entered into the grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. So swing by one of these participating sponsors: Northwest Tire of Bismarck Mandan, Capitol Heights Auto Clinic, 12 Stones Coffee, Papa Murphy's on Mapleton Avenue, Kroll's in Mandan, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, Pizza Ranch. Grab a Bucks window sticker and place it in your rear window. For more info and contest rules, visit BismarckBucks.com. Go Bucks!